today is the 25th of February and it's Tuesday today, and it's about, trying to see what time it is. It's 1:15 in the afternoon. I just wanted to do like a quick update. I actually did not vlog last week. I had a really rough week with work and just all sorts of things. So I didn't film. I just, like, my headspace wasn't in reading. I barely read last week, so my headspace just wasn't in it. But I wanted to get back on track and show you guys what I have done. First, I want to talk about what I completed, because I did actually complete a book last week, and that was Vita Nostra. I'll leave the picture here. I finally finished that book, you guys, and I'm just gonna say it was a confusing book. It really was, and I feel like based on other people's reviews of this book, there has to be something in this book that I'm just not picking up. And I think that because I'm not getting it, it just wasn't enjoyable for me. And even I struggled through the last of the book all the way to the end, and the book just wasn't resonating with me. And I unfortunately gave it 3 stars because I just feel like it wasn't as great as everyone has said it was. It was weird. It was just like, I think the concept of it was awesome. I liked the Russian aspect of it, like the details of life in Russia. I loved that. And like the concept of the magic, I think like the idea of it was good, but you just weren't explained enough about the magic in this book to be able to really grasp what is going on, apart from the fact that she's like physically changing from human to something that's not human. So I didn't enjoy the book by the end of it. So yeah, I gave it 3 stars, unfortunately. If you've read Vita Nostra, please leave a comment down below and tell me what you thought about it, and if you feel the same way I did, or if you feel differently, explain to me why, or what it is that I'm not getting, because I just didn't get it. So yeah. But I also am continuing on with reading Rainy Day Kisses. I am almost finished this book. I think I've got about 56 pages to go. Hopefully I can finish that tonight. I'm actually really enjoying this romance. It's super cute. Originally I thought it was a Christmas book because it does start off in the prologue at Christmas. Is it prologue? Yeah, prologue at Christmas time, but then you go into the actual story, and the story itself at the moment where I'm up to is not Christmas, but it is a super cute romance story. I'm really, really enjoying the relationship between Susanna and Nate. They're 2 very, very different people. Nate being like a very laid back, relaxed, chill person, and Susanna kind of being a little bit more high strung and like 5-year plan, and this is this, and you can only have purpose in your life if you have a job, and like all that type of, like, that's what she is. But it's kind of nice to see the 2 very different personalities seeing something in each other. Excuse the noise, there is a truck going by. But yeah, seeing something in each other that they obviously like. So super cute. Then I started the Innocence Shock Pregnancy by Carol Marinelli. This is one of Harlequin's Mills and Boon's modern line. This is like one of those one night stands with consequences type of stories. I'm only 13 pages in, so I really can't give you any great details about it. That's kind of it for reading. I wanted to update you on knitting. So in some of my previous vlogs, I said that I had bought some yarn from a company called Ruby Fox Yarns, I think it is. Yeah, Ruby Fox Yarns. The Ruby Fox, yeah. And something was missing out of my order, and I had emailed, and a month went by and I got no response, and I had emailed on 3 different platforms on 3 separate occasions, and I had gotten no response. Well, she did respond to me last week, and she apologized and said to me that she was so very sorry. She didn't see my emails about the inquiry with my order, and she like apologized profusely and said she was so sorry and that she was going to send out what was missing immediately. So that was very nice of her. So she did seem extremely sorry about the situation. So I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to say that, you know, if she didn't see the email, then she didn't see the email, but she did respond, and she was very, very polite and, you know, apologetic about it. So she did send out the extra one, and then she also sent me something extra, which she did not have to do. I appreciate the gesture, but she didn't have to do that. I was honestly fine with the outcome of the situation. So I'm going to say that, like, I know that she has been a little bit stressed because her dog is sick, so I'm just going to say hasn't seen it and it's just slipped her mind. So I'm definitely going to give her another chance because her stuff is beautiful, and she does work really hard on her page and everything. She's always like creating new stuff and all that sort of thing. So, you know, we all have bad times. Like at the beginning I was disappointed because I hadn't had a response, but I am happy with the outcome, and she was so very apologetic about it. So I am definitely going to continue buying from her. I just think she just had a bad time, and it's fine. We all have those. Sometimes I miss things that I'm supposed to respond to as well, and I do respond as soon as I see them. But I received my second order from her because I had placed 2. I'd placed one the week before my birthday, and then the one the week of Australia Day, the weekend of Australia Day. So my second order came in, and that came in last week, and I got this gorgeous one here. Absolutely stunning, you guys. This is pumpkin pie spice. It's a DK weight in merino wool, and it's 110 grams, and this is just so soft. I don't know what I'm going to make with this yet, but I am looking forward to this colorway because it's just beautiful. The different speckles of orange, and looks like a little bit of speckles of like brown through it as well, which is just stunning. And in case you're wondering, these are $35 each. I did get these on special though. The second one I only ordered 2 in my second order because I am only part-time. I only work a small amount of hours, so I don't always have disposable income for things. But this one here, just stunning. Like, look at that colorway, and the blue, like that bright blue, is just beautiful. Like, I am so excited to have this color in my stash because it is going to be so gorgeous once this is worked up. And this one's called Drops of Jupiter. It is in fingering weight yarn, and this is a merino wool, and it's 100 grams. Just absolutely stunning. I love this color. So that was the order, my second order. And then today, the one that was missing out of my first order arrived, which is this one. And it's this really beautiful, beautiful red color. It's just stunning. It is a thinner sort of yarn, and this one's called Red or Dead, and it is called Silky Singles, and this is 80% merino and 20% silk, and it's 100 grams. So this is, sorry, there's so many trucks that go by here. So this is definitely a finer yarn than some of the others, but it is so pretty. I, again, have no idea what I'm going to do with this. Probably something for Christmas time because the color just screams Christmas to me. I love it. And then the little extra thing that she sent me that she totally did not have to, is actually a project bag. It's this little project bag. So it's kind of like a, I don't know, what do you call this shape? This is kind of like the shape of it, and then it has a zipper down the front, and it has a little handle there, and it's also lined on the inside as well, like with beautiful fabric. But it is gorgeous, and it's like a little project bag, and she totally did not have to send that at all, but she did, and it was so lovely of her. And like the fabric that she's used, it looks like it's supposed to be like blueprints for a castle. How adorable is that? And this is just so gorgeous, and then you just put your project that you're currently working on in here, which I think is fantastic. Now onto what I've been knitting. So I've put my socks on hold, and I have taken back up the socks that I was knitting for my fiance, because it is his 35th birthday this coming Friday, which is the 28th of February, and I want to have these done by Thursday, so I can give them to him on Friday. Obviously I've got other gifts, but so you've already seen the one I finished, which is this one. So this one is knitted from the cuff down, and then I used a Kitchener stitch on the toe, and that's that. And I used a Motivera yarn. It's like a wool nylon blend, I believe, off the top of my head. So that's that, and then I'm doing this second one currently, and then I have a little ice cream cone stitch marker. That's where I had taken the needles out and put it on hold to start my socks. So I picked this back up a few days ago, and so from where that marker is to up here is how much I have knit. So I'm currently in the stages of knitting the foot. I have about a quarter of the foot still to go, and then the toe, and then to do the Kitchener stitch to finish it off. That is how it is currently looking, and then this is what's left of the yarn. Now the full total black part of the yarn won't end up going into the sock, because the way the toe finishes, it finishes before the black part, because I didn't knit the leg as long because he wanted a shorter leg. But that's currently where I'm at with my knitting. Now I do have plans for reading today. I am going to try really, really hard to finish off this book today, because I only have 56 pages left. I also want to read more of this one, and then I have King Size, which I'm reading on my Kindle app, and that is only like 16 pages in as well. I want to try and get some of that read as well, because I really, really, really want to try and finish the books that I have on the go before the end of the month. If I don't, I don't, but I'm going to try. So yeah, so I have my reading journal here so that I can try and like achieve those goals. So that's kind of everything at the moment, you guys. I have just uploaded part 1 of my Valentine's Day vlog, which was not last week but the week before, so hopefully you'll be able to see that. And that's it for today. I think I'm going to update you guys either later tonight or tomorrow. See you guys later. Bye! It's raining so heavy right now, you guys. We're having a big storm. I'm just like opening the door slightly on my balcony to my bedroom because the rain is coming in quite heavy. But listen to that, you guys. There was a biggest crack of lightning before, scared the absolute hell out of me. Look at that. Hi guys, so today is the 28th of February and it is a Friday. Today's actually my fiance's 35th birthday, so we were celebrating that today. But I wanted to update you a little bit because I didn't film anything yesterday. Yesterday. I can't remember if I filmed anything the day before. Not sure, but I wanted to update you on my reading and knitting and all that sort of stuff. I finished the Rainy Day Kisses yesterday and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I love the story. I think it was super cute. It wasn't a very long book. It was 184 pages, but it was, I think, just right length for the story like itself. Like, I don't think it needed any more, if that makes sense. I think like the length of it was like perfect for the type of story it was. I really enjoyed it. I think Susanna and Nate were a perfect couple. Susanna was a little bit sort of judgmental in the beginning, but I think she learnt to see differently as like the book went on, and you could see her kind of changing a little bit and her like personality developing more in the story, and it was really cute, you guys. It was set in Seattle, and it was actually written in, I believe, 1990, I think I said last time. And the way Debbie Maycomer like writes her work, you would never know it was written in the 90s because it still fits into modern day times now. Like, it is still very modern, and I feel like a lot of people can still relate to the work itself. So you have zero idea that when it was written was like literally nearly 30 years ago. Yeah, so it's crazy to think that, but I really enjoyed that book. I am still reading The Innocence Shock Pregnancy by Carol Marinelli, which is this one here. I did read a fair bit of this one yesterday. I'm up to 54 pages and this one's 190 pages long. It's quite a thin book, so I'm hoping to finish this one today, hopefully. If I don't finish it today, then at the very least tomorrow. So far I'm liking the book. Ethan Devereaux, though, the main male character, is a little bit arrogant in the beginning, and that kind of irked me a little bit. And I'm up to a part in the book where there is a sex scene, and it is pretty like instantaneous, if that makes sense. Like, they literally meet. Merida is assistant for a gallery, and she shows Ethan Devereaux around the gallery for a private showing, and then like literally an hour after that they're having dinner and then falling into bed with one another, which seems a little bit fast if you ask me, but I am still enjoying the book so far. So that's kind of everything for my reading, but I wanted to update you on my knitting and some of my other things that I'm got going. I finished my fiance's socks, you guys. So this one was the first one I knit, which I finished a while ago. And I did use Modavira Perfect Pair yarn. It's a sock yarn, and it knit up pretty nicely. There are like the odd couple of mistakes throughout this, but I think considering this is literally the first thing I've ever knit in my life, I did a really good job. This is the second sock. Now, they're not identical. I tried to make them as identical as I possibly could, but you can see the color matchup doesn't match exactly. That's just how the ball of yarn was on each set, but they don't have to be identical. That's not why I made them, but I really like them. They fit my fiance perfectly, and these are going to be really, really great coming up to winter, because we're end of summer now. This Sunday, which is the 1st of March, will be the first day of autumn for us here in Australia. So yeah, so these will be really perfect for him to wear, and he really likes them. So there's that. And then last night I went to Spotlight because I had to get some craft supplies for my fiance's birthday present, or one of his birthday presents. So I needed to go there, and then while I was there, I had no plan of buying yarn, like none, but I come across, let me just situate myself, this beautiful yarn here. This is the Lion Brand yarn, and this is called Summer Night, and this is in the colorway Sunset. This is a 200-gram ball of yarn, so it is quite large. It is so soft, and it is 82% acrylic and 18% polyester. Sorry about the plane, you guys. And this is a super fine yarn, and it says the sizes on here for knitting needles and crochet hook is, knitting needles is a 3.25 millimeter and the crochet hook is a 3.5 millimeter, but this is super fine, you guys. And it says that one ball will knit up a scarf, and I am doing a scarf. I'm literally just winging it. I'm not following any type of pattern. I started last night and I'm crocheting, but I'm actually using a smaller hook. I'm using a 2.25 millimeter hook, and I think it actually works really good considering how fine the yarn is. But this is what it looks like so far, so we'll see how this works out, but hopefully this should be a nice nice scarf. I really like this, and it does actually have gold, like what do you call it, not glitter, it's like, well, I guess it's kind of like, I don't know what you call it, but it's got gold through it anyway. It sparkles. It's so beautiful. I love this color choice with the yellow, the orange, the blue, and that sort of browny color, because this is exactly like the colors of a sunset. So I thought this was gorgeous. This was $15, you guys, for one ball of yarn, which is a lot in my opinion, but unfortunately here in Australia, any brand that comes out of like America or Canada, or let's be real here, anywhere else in the world other than Australia, once it comes into Australia, the price gets jacked up like crazy. But I had a 40% off coupon, so I only paid $9 for this last night, so that made me happy. So that's what I'm working on at the moment, is this. I still have my socks on the go. I have not picked those back up yet because I was focusing on finishing my fiance's socks, and I started last year a crochet blanket that I need to get back into because it is for my fiance, and I want to get it done before winter, so I've got 3 months before winter to essentially get that done, if you will. Yeah, so I will have to yeah, I'm trying to think how much I've got left on it to do. There's a fair bit. There is actually a fair bit. I think I'm only like a quarter of the way through the blanket. I'm just looking at it. It's in a basket next to my bed. I'd say I'm about a quarter of the way through, so there's still a fair bit, so I really need to pull my finger out and actually start working on that and getting that done. But that is kind of everything at the moment, you guys. I really want to finish this before the end of February. I still have the ebook king size, and I've only read like 16 pages in it, so I can't judge on whether I like it or not, but I just haven't felt the need to pick it up, so I probably won't finish that before the end of February, but I definitely want to try and finish this before then. So yeah, so anyway guys, that's everything. I will update you later if I do happen to read or finish anything or what have you, but for now that is everything. So I will see you guys later. Bye. Hi guys, so I am just doing a quick update. Today is actually the 2nd of March, but I wanted to finish off the week's reading vlog. I was meant to film yesterday and I didn't. So I just wanted to cap off my reading vlog for the week. So on Saturday, was it Saturday? Yes, Saturday. I finished the, oh, what's it called? I'm having a blank. Let me just check my reading journal. I finished The Innocence Shock Pregnancy by Carol Marinelli, and that is a Mills and Boon romance, and I gave that one 4 stars. Sorry if I'm bumping the camera there. I liked it. I really enjoyed reading it. The reason why I didn't give it 5 stars though is because I feel like the main character, Merida, she needed to grow a backbone basically. So our male, our lead male in the story, shoot, what's his name? I think it was Ethan Devereaux. I could be wrong here, but anyway, the main guy hooked up with Merida. They had a one-night stand type of thing. He started to like her though the night that they hooked up, and like, you know, he started to actually like her and things like that, and she was different to most of the other women that he's hooked up with. But he got a phone call while they were having breakfast together, and basically it was some bad news about his father, so he just kind of was like, peace, I'm out, and left. Now the Devereaux family are super wealthy family in, I think it's New York, and so he always has this assumption that all women are gold diggers and there's no such thing as love, because obviously he's seen his father be with multiple women throughout his life. He always assumed that his father cheated on his mother with a nanny, which was not true, but his father let him believe that because his father didn't want him to know the truth about his mother. So he grew up kind of with this very warped idea of how women should be treated. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't gold diggers out there, because yes, there definitely are, both men and women. But Merida was far from it. She was a struggling actress, yes, but a struggling actress does not automatically make her gold digger. And she also fell for him the night that they hooked up, and she fell pregnant basically, and she was, I want to say, about 4 months pregnant by the time, she didn't know straight away, but by the time he found out, she was 4 months pregnant, because he refused to take any of her calls. She'd been trying to tell him, but he wouldn't take her calls or anything like that, so she thought, screw it. And afterwards he almost basically forced her to sign a contract to marry him, because he wasn't going to allow her to go back to England with their kid basically, and so they had to have a marriage of convenience, and all that sort of jazz. And I just thought the way he treated Merida was appalling. And I'm not saying that he didn't love her. I feel like he did love her from the beginning, but because of the way he thought about what there was like about the way he thought about women, and the fact that he thought there was no such thing as love, made him keep pushing his feelings to the back of his mind type of thing, and just made him keep thinking she's a gold digger, she's just after my money, which was not the case. But the way he treated her the whole time was appalling. Not only that, but she was pregnant, for crying out loud. If you're going to treat someone you supposedly care for, that's them like literally carrying your child, what the hell? And I really felt like she did, like she married him, which was stupid, but she did, and she did give as good as she got type of thing. Like she put in like rules, so most of the time that they were married, she refused to sleep with him because she refused to be like a paid whore basically, and they slept in separate bedrooms, and she was kind of really icy to him, which yeah, he deserved it, but I just felt like she should have grown a bigger backbone at the beginning. Like I know she was pregnant, hormones, all that sort of stuff, emotions, whatever, but girl, grow some respect for yourself. But it sounds like I totally hated this book. I didn't. I actually did really like it. I really did. I enjoyed the whole story of how it all started to right through to the ending. There was a part in there that was really heartbreaking as well. And this book, for such a short book, packed a punch. It was 190 pages. But it got through some stuff. But yeah, so I do actually really recommend the book. I do like it. I just gave it a 4 stars because I just felt like he was a douche. So yeah, so that's everything for the week. I am going to wrap everything up now because it is technically Monday, so I need to start on no, actually no, I lie. I don't want to wrap it up yet. I want to tell you about this. I forgot there's some actually other things I want to talk about. I started reading on the 1st of March this book, which is Gorky Park by Martin Cruz Smith. This is a book written in 1981. This edition is not written then, but the story itself was written in 1981, so before I was even born. And I want to say something like the 9th book in the series has recently been published, and I kept seeing it pop up all the time. I think it's called, what is it? I think it's called Siberian Dilemma. Yeah, the Siberian Dilemma. And like I just love anything set in like Russia and like Poland and Siberia and like all those places, because I just find the culture and then like nature part of it and the historical part of it so fascinating. So I decided when I found out that the Siberian Dilemma was like the 9th book in the series that I had to start from the beginning. So I picked this up. I got this for my birthday. It was on clearance for like $6.50 or something like that. And so I started reading this on Sunday. I'm only 21 pages in, but it's good so far. It's so good so far. So basically there are 3 bodies found in Gorky Park, and Arkady Renko, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that properly, but let's just run with it, is the lead or chief investigator, if you will, and he works for the, how do you pronounce it? Is it you know what I'm saying. The military police. That's who he works for in Russia. And one of his men that were, I guess, patrolling the park went off the park, like the pathway, to go pee, and he stumbled across 3 bodies that were frozen in the snow because it's, you know, it's in the middle of winter. And so he called it in, and while he's there, the KGB also turn up because like the military police deal with like murders and things like that, and just like, you know, mainstream crime. the KGB deal with anything that they deem as a threat to Russia's security, basically. So they also turn up. The guy, the lead guy, I don't know how to pronounce the name for this guy like at all, because obviously these names are Russian. I don't know how to pronounce a lot of the Russian names. I'm sorry. Let me see. Pribluda? I don't know. So then basically the head honcho of the KGB also turns up at the scene, if you will. Total douche, this guy. And he pretty much manhandles these 3 dead bodies. 2 are male, 1 is female. And the one I thought was really, like, the one thing he did and said that I really, like, just bugged me was the lead of the KGB decided that he was going to check out who these dead bodies are. So he climbs on top of the bodies and starts, like, hitting their coats, like their winter coats, because the coats had frozen, to crack the coats so that he could, like, open them up to see, like, wounds and things like that. First off, you're disturbing the crime scene and evidence, ya moron. And secondly, rude much. These are dead bodies. Show some respect for the dead. And the female one, he, like, was, like, hitting her coat to break the ice, and then he peels it open and he's like, yep, this one's definitely a lady because she has boobs and I can see her nipples. I was like, are you for real? Are you for real right now? Like, show some respect. Like, geez. So that guy, if was in my life, would get a real smack upside the head because rude much. So he was a total douche, but he was all over these bodies, completely ruining the crime scene. And then he's like, that's not my problem, it's not a national security, so peace out, like, I'm out, it's your problem. Which I thought was like, okay. But the bodies were obviously murdered. They originally first thought that they had just got drunk on vodka and fell asleep or passed out in the snow and froze to death. It wasn't the case. Their face and fingers had been removed. Well, not all of them, just some of the fingers and their face had been removed, and they had been shot, I think, twice in the head and once in the chest. So obviously they'd been murdered. So that's kind of as far as I've gotten in. Like, I'm not giving any spoilers. This was, like, literally in the description. But it's really good so far. Also, it kind of definitely, obviously I know it's a book, it's not real, all that jazz, so yes, the author does have creative license with, like, you know, everything, but it does give you a very good idea of, like, what Russia was like in that time frame in, like, 81. So it's so vastly different to, say, like, America, or Canada, or England, or France, or Australia. Like, so vastly different. But so far, I'm enjoying it. I think this is going to be a really good book. So, yeah. That is everything that I'm reading at the moment. Now, let's quickly run through my wrap-up, because I don't really care about doing wrap-up videos separately, because I just don't think people care about that sort of stuff. I mean, you probably don't care about my videos either, but this is how I'm doing it. So I've got my bullet journal here. So basically I read 7 books in the month of February, which is actually quite a lot of books for me. I don't normally read that many. I normally read about 3 to 4 books. So I'm actually really pleased with like that number. 2 though of the 7 were continuations from January, but that's fine. So basically I had 4 books that I gave 5 stars to, 2 books that I gave 4 stars to, and 1 book that I gave 3 stars to. I read 1,404 pages out of the seven books. The first book I finished, let's have a look here, was, just flipping to the right page, was The Royal's Pet by Adora Crooks. That was a ebook that I got off of Kindle Unlimited. I loved it. I rated it 5 stars. It was a very, very steamy royal romance between 3 people. So the prince, his bodyguard, and a backpack. But it was really, really good. I do highly recommend it. Keep in mind though, there is a lot of sex in this book, and threesomes do happen, and also male. So if that's not your thing, just keep that in mind. But I really enjoyed the book. I thought it was a great book, not just for the romance aspect of it, but also the characters start off not shallow, but like you don't really know too much about them in the beginning, and then throughout the book you learn things about their past and their present lives and like some of the hardships they've gone through, and then you see them grow and learn from that. And I really enjoyed it. It was so good. The second book I finished was Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. That I gave 5 stars. I started that in January, end of January, and finished it at the beginning of February. That book was amazing. I loved it. I know that it's been out for a while, but it was such a good book, you guys. I highly recommend that. I haven't started book 2 yet, but I'll get there. But oh my god, that book was so good, and it was also super graphic, you guys. So if you don't know about the book, it's basically set in space. So I guess in the future there's no more Earth, that type of thing. People live in space now, on spaceships and things like that. There's another planet that they also illegally live on, and then there's these 2 companies that basically I guess are competitor companies, and they mine certain minerals off of these planets type of thing. And one company, hiccups, I always get hiccups after I eat dinner, excuse me. One mining company attacks the other mining company and releases a bioweapon that basically creates zombies and infects like a whole ship, and that then in turn affects more people on another ship, and it just gets crazy. There is some straight up gore in this. And there are also some really detailed murders of some young children as well, so do keep that in mind. That isn't very often that comes up in the book, but it's there, so just keep that in mind. I was kind of not shocked to read it, but I was like, oh wow, this little girl is 4 years old and she's just been slaughtered by her father basically. He slaughtered his wife and his kids. So that was kind of really sad when I read that, but I still recommend the book. It's amazing, amazing book. And I really love the format of the book as well, because the book is written in like emails, text documents, someone is like reviewing video footage and has like written down like what is happening type of thing. So it's like all these documents all compiled together to create the story, and I freaking love it. And it makes the book go so fast. So even though the book is like 600 pages, you can read it so quickly. So yeah, so there's that one. The next one I finished was actually, I don't know if it is the next one I finished, but it's the next on my list. The Medicine Man by Sarah M. Anderson. That one was, again, amazing. I gave it 5 stars. It was about a white woman, Madeline, and a Native American man, Rebel. And basically, she's a doctor, he's a medicine man. She signs a 2-year contract to work as the sole doctor on their reservation to help their people. And I think both of them don't trust each other. There are cultural differences that both need to learn about with each other, and they do, they definitely learn. And I think they really do learn not just about each other's cultures, but about themselves as well, and some of the issues that maybe they have and have learnt to overcome throughout the story. But this one is, I'm not gonna lie guys, it's a heart tugger, that one. It is a romance between Rebel and Madeline. They do fall in love, so it's also about them overcoming the cultural differences, being the fact that one is white, one is Native American. But the Dr. Madeline, she basically saves the tribe, like the whole reservation, from some really bad bacteria that made everybody sick, because a local rancher that lives on the farm next to their reservation contaminated their meat because he wanted their water rights and they didn't want to give him their water rights. And this guy made them so sick. I actually cried twice in the book because one of the people, like the whole tribe got sick basically, apart from maybe like 5 people. And one of the first people you read about being sick in the book is a little girl, Nellie, and Nellie's like 4 or 5 years old, and you read about basically almost her lifeless body in the bathtub, and she's hemorrhaging on the inside, like bleeding internally. She's vomiting and diarrhea and like sweating, and just she's so sick, and it made me hurt to read about this little girl and the tribes and how cruel someone could be to the tribe. Like it really hurt reading it, but it was a really good book. I do highly recommend it. It's actually the first book in the series, but it's not like a continuation in the series. Like each book represents a different man from the tribe, so there's that. The next one I read was Murder on Valentine's Day by Pete Creedon. This is a cozy mystery. It's super cute, super fast. It was something like 48 pages. I read it in one sitting, and basically it's exactly what it says. A murder happens on Valentine's Day, and I cannot for the life of me remember her name. I think it might be Emily. I've read a lot of books, you guys. Names start clashing. She's 20 years old. Her father is the sheriff, like the head sheriff or whatever you want to call it, in the police department in this little town that she lives in. And the guy that works with her father, I think his name was Colby, is the head of the canine department, and she has a thing for him. She really likes him, and she hopes that he will ask her out on Valentine's Day for dinner. And her day kind of obviously doesn't go to plan because she ends up at a murder scene. And like you literally know who the murderer is from the beginning basically, because it's only 48 pages. You have to cram a lot of the story into that small amount of time. But they do a really good job. I rated it 4 stars purely because of how short it is and the fact that you basically know who did the murder right away. But if it was a little bit longer and it took a little bit more guessing, I would rate it a 5, but 4 stars I think is really good. It's a really cute series. Like it's the second book in the series. There's a whole bunch of them. They're adorable. I get them off of Kindle Unlimited. So there's that. The next book I read was Vita Nostra by Marina and Sergei Dyachenko. Oh, this book, you guys, I rated it 3 stars. I had such high hopes for this book. I had seen so many YouTubers say that this book was amazing. It was such a good book. You have to read it. People were saying like this is a classic of its generation. Like all these people on Goodreads were highly rating it, and so I had high hopes for it. Also, it's set in Russia, and I'm obsessed with Russian books right now. I didn't like it. I did not like it. I liked it in the beginning, and then I got not quite halfway through, and I just started to go downhill from there. Basically, it's about a girl, Sasha. She's originally 16. She gets approached by this weird guy that requests her to do silly tasks like swim out to the boy thing in the water naked and then back again at 4 in the morning and then vomit up coins and keep the coins, or run laps in the park at exactly the same time every morning, and then once you finish running the laps, then pee in a bush in the park and then vomit up coins. And if you don't do these things, bad things will happen. So she does this, and then all the coins that she vomits up after doing these tasks every day is her admittance into a magical university, if you will. And then she ends up going to this university in like a little town called Torpa that's a fair distance away from where she lives with her mother. And that's where everything goes downhill from there. It's weird as shit, you guys. The magic system is not explained like at all. You have no idea what is going on when you're reading this. It's just like every time I was reading sections of the book, I was just like, what just happened? Because it's not explained, and even the students in the university would constantly ask, like, I don't understand why we're studying this, or what the point is of this stuff, or what are we doing? And all they kept saying was, like, basically, you don't need to know, it's too hard to explain right now. But it's just like, come on guys, you need to give some type of description to this. And then, like, the more I read, the less I liked Sasha as well. Like, I really, by the end, disliked her. She was spoilt. She was just, like, she didn't listen to anybody. Like, her professors would say, I want you to study exercises, say, let's just say 10 to 16, but you can't go past it because it could be dangerous, right? Because it's magical stuff that they're messing with. So she would go from, like, all the way up to, like, exercise 56. And then something bad would happen. And then her professors would have to come and fix it for her. And they'd be like, why did you do that? We told you not to do that. And she just repeatedly did these things throughout the book. She endangered her baby brother. She nearly killed him. She had endangered herself several times. She physically changed her own self because she did not listen and completed all of the exercises before she was ready, and her arms turned into like robot arms and she could see through her skin, and it was like a whole weird thing. She developed wings. It was weird, you guys, and I just by the end of it just thought, oh my god, Sasha is so whiny and so irresponsible, and she was just unlikable as a character for me. And I just don't understand what about this book that everyone seems to love, because I feel like I'm the only one that didn't like it. I don't know if it's because there's something missing in the translation from Russian to English, or if that's just the way it is, or maybe the second and third book you get to know more, but unfortunately the second and third book aren't translated to English, so I don't know. But I didn't like it. I rated it 3 stars. Tell me what you think about that book, because I can't with that book. The next book I finished was Rainy Day Kisses by Debbie Maycomer. Loved that book. She is my favorite author. I gave that book 5 stars. It was fantastic. I loved it. Hiccups again. It was super cute romance, so adorable. Susanna, was it? I think it's Susanna and Nate. They're neighbours in like a unit building, like complex type of thing, and basically she gets dumped with her niece for a few days to look after while her sister goes out of town to help try and save her marriage. And Susanna has never looked after children before, or even had anything to do with children. Sorry, I just heard music all of a sudden. Oh, that's alright. Sorry, I just heard like piano. I was like, where did that come from? Sorry, it's my fiance playing piano. Back to what I was saying. And so the baby, Michelle, is crying and screaming, and then her next door neighbour comes banging on the door to find out what's going on, and then he helps her with the baby, and they kind of then start to develop romance throughout, looking after Michelle over a few days. And then once the Susanna's sister comes and picks up Michelle, she still continues to see Nate, and Nate is very different to her. He seems to be super chill and laid back and isn't like really stressed about anything. And she's one of these like really highly strung, like I have a 5-year plan, I need to get to this by this date and blah 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 type of person, which I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but just, you know, it works for some, doesn't work for others. And so obviously their two personalities are very different. He doesn't tell her from the beginning that he's actually a multi-millionaire, but he sold his company, so he's taking some time out to reevaluate life. So as I was saying, so he doesn't tell her that, yeah, he's a multi-millionaire, and he kind of, it's not that he hides it, it's just that they haven't really known each other that long, so she gets into a whole big thing about, you know, him lying to her and blah blah blah. And I think the problem is not that he didn't tell her straight away, it's more the fact that she's falling in love and she doesn't like the fact that it's messing with her plans. They obviously do get together. It's a really adorable story. I'm really not doing justice by describing it, but I really think it's super cute story that's worth a read. I rated it 5 stars. And then the last book I read was The Innocence Shock Pregnancy by Carol Marinelli, and I've already spoke about that one. I give it 4 stars. So that is everything that I have read for the month of February. It was a much shorter month, so I'm really surprised that I actually got 7 books read. I did start a book called King Size by Lexi Whitlow. I only got 16 pages in and I DNF'd it. Not because it was bad or anything like that. I just don't think I'm in the right mindset to read it. Like, I started reading it and I was enjoying what I was reading, but when it came time to, like, obviously I'd stop reading, I'd go to bed or whatever, and it'd say like the next day when it come time for me to want to read, that was not what I was reaching for. I was reaching for other things, and I just found myself not reaching for that one at all. So I DNF'd it. I will probably pick it back up again later, but just right now it's not the right book for me, so there's that. And then I will film probably tomorrow, because tomorrow's my day off, my reading goals for March. This is my March book bingo. I have 16 prompts, and then I pick out 16 books for me to be able to read from in a month. Obviously I'm not going to read all 16 books, but whatever I can get done I will be super happy with. So yeah, so that's everything, guys. I'm really enjoying my reading, and I am setting myself goals because I did want to read more books this year, and I am doing that, and I'm really happy that I am, and I'm enjoying it. So yeah, so I'm going to read more of this book tonight. I don't know how many pages I'm going to read. We will see. I want to try and read 50, but I don't know. I may not. Depends on how tired I am, because what time is it? It's 7:40, and I worked this afternoon. I didn't get home until 6, yeah, almost 6, and I'm tired, you guys. I'm so tired. It's been dead in the shopping centers. This whole coronavirus is scaring people, and people are not shopping. Like, don't get me wrong, it's understandable that people are scared of the coronavirus. I definitely get it. But it is affecting everything at the moment. Like, the shopping centers are empty, so empty. And like, my fiance, he works for a supermarket, and he was telling me that like the money that they make in one day has like skyrocketed because people are going crazy and coming in and just like cleaning out the supermarkets of like water and hand sanitizer and tissues and toilet paper and rice and pasta. And so, like, you know, things are crazy at the moment with this coronavirus. So yeah, so it's kind of a little bit crazy, and like I do see people walking around in the shopping center, not that there's many, but the people that are there, I do see a few of them wearing face masks, and even those have sold out. You can't buy hand sanitizer and face masks anywhere here in Brisbane at the moment. It's really hard. Like my work, we order hand sanitizer because obviously we deal with people all day long, so you know, germs. And we've been trying to order hand sanitizer from like our supplier that we get like all of our stationery and stuff from, and we have not been able to get it. Like the most we were able to get was a tiny little pocket sized hand sanitizer, and that's it. And we normally get like big bottles of hand sanitizer, so things have been crazy. I just make sure that I am always using hand sanitizer or washing my hands frequently, because obviously I'm dealing with money and customers and things like that, so you know, I'm being vigilant in that way. But I mean, if you're going to get sick, you're going to get sick, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to stop a virus, basically. I mean, definitely there's things you can do, but it's hard. It's hard to stop a virus, but I'm just doing what I can do, and it is what it is. Unfortunately, life has to go on, you guys. So, not that I really don't spend that much time out of the house. I'm a homebody. I prefer to be home. I like being home. So, other than work, I don't really venture out of the house very often. So, I just keep up my, like, you know, washing my hands and stuff at work, and yeah. But anyway, guys, that's everything. I'm gonna do some reading. I'm gonna go get a drink. I'm so thirsty. I will do some more updating tomorrow. I'm a little bit behind uploading my reading vlogs. I've just been super busy. I also had my fiance's 35th birthday, so we have celebrated for that. I didn't really want to spend time filming too much while we were doing that, and I've been having a bit of a rough time with work, and I've been feeling a bit under the weather. Not like virus or flu wise, just I've been like, the weather here is like really hot and really humid, and because of that it's giving me really bad, sorry, I can hear noises in the background. It's been giving me really bad headaches, and also I have allergies. Like, mine aren't seasonal, mine are year round, but my allergies, because of the humidity and stuff, have been really bad. And so I keep getting like sinus headaches, and they're the worst, you guys. But yeah, so anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I can see the light flashing on my camera telling me it is flat, so I'm going to get going. I'm going to charge my camera up, and I will speak to you guys tomorrow. Bye!
I watch you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you?